Welcome to Her Wisdom Collective, a sanctuary for stories, truth, and transformation. I'm Lucy Ibarra. I am your host, and each week I sit down with women and others who are redefining what it means to grow, to heal, to speak up, and to take up space. This is a celebration of the messy, the magical, the bold, and the becoming. Here, no one is too loud, too sensitive, too ambitious, or too much. Because in this collective, your voice is your power, and your wisdom is worth sharing. Welcome to Her Wisdom Collective podcast. I am Lucy Ibarra, and today I have a little bit of a special episode. I am going to talk a little bit about our creativity and the space that we cultivate for it. I have been very, very blessed to have quite an amazing year in 2025 and starting in 2024 with many projects that I was able to birth. And I wanted to talk about how we stand in our way sometimes to be able to create all of our projects, all of our ideas. When we think of something, and specifically as women, sometimes we stand in our own way. Maybe it is conditioning from when we were children. Maybe it's conditioning from how we saw our own mothers show up into the world. And the projects that I've been able to come up with, including this podcast, have been from a place of honoring and reverence to the women that came before me. Sometimes we forget that they had difficult journeys or that their ride along in life has been something that maybe wasn't that pleasant, maybe was a challenge. And I like to think that their challenges were for a reason. And how do we get to honor that is by showing up for ourselves as women. And like I say, I want my daughter to be a better version of myself. And I know that they definitely would have wanted that for us as well. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my babies, my books. It's something that Thanksgiving of 2023, I sat around the table and I talked to my family and let them know that I was going to be writing a book. And that was going to be my goal to have for the next Thanksgiving to present it to them. And things happened in life where maybe I didn't execute as quickly as I wanted to. And life gets in the way, and there's always more important things that come up. And that's a story for a lot of us. I remember it coming close to Thanksgiving, and I already had the book laid out. I actually had the illustrator who had done the pictures. I just had not pulled the trigger on how I was going to publish it, when I was going to publish it. But I knew that because I had made that promise to my family at the Thanksgiving table the year before, I needed to do it. And I was not going to show up without something in place as far as my book. So I really did research. I created my list of tasks to get it done, and I was able to show up and give them my book on Thanksgiving, at the Thanksgiving table. And the first one, this is the first one that was released, Abuelita's Heart Wisdom. And it was very special to me because I wanted to come from a place of, I've always said that when it comes to my grandmother, to our grandmothers, sometimes they end up being a picture on the wall. And one goal that I wanted was for my grandbabies to understand a little bit about me and to remember me. One day they are going to have their own children, and I won't just be a picture on the wall. There will be a book to commemorate how it was that I wanted to show up for them. And it was a labor of love with a sprinkle of what my grandmother was to me, because I was very, very close to my grandmother, my Nina Mariana, who used to babysit me while my mom would go to work, my dad would go to work, and I had many, many special moments with her. I wanted to honor the quiet, timid woman that she was, but also create something that would commemorate the strength that she gave me without knowing. And my abuelita was one that she wasn't very loud, she wasn't very vocal, but what she instilled in me and what I was able to see in the woman that she was created something very, very, a huge fire in me that wanted to show up and was birthed in this book. So a combination of who she was to me and a combination of how it is that I grandparent and the traditions that I've kept around from what she gave me, but also how I've evolved as a grandmother in this new modern world. So this book is special to me in that aspect. But Abuelita's Heart Wisdom was not my first book written. It was the first book published, but it was not my first book written. My first book written was Mommy's Magic Bottle. And I want to thank everybody, obviously, for the support that you've given me with these books. This book itself has gotten so much feedback from adult book readers. Maybe somebody who didn't realize that such emotion was going to come up for them when they read the book, as far as what their own traumas were as children. And that's been a huge blessing for me because I did not expect that. I did not expect for people to reach out to me and let me know that this brought up something emotionally for them that helped them. Friends that have shared with me about their addictions, their own grief, postpartum depression, eating disorders, and all of those things. Not everything there was something I was expecting to hear, but how this book has shown up for them, whether they're moms or not, is huge because it shows an aspect of vulnerability. And the journal in the back has been something that they've been able to celebrate and write down their victories and their moments of sadness. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to get out of my own way to birth these books. And there are more coming. I'm definitely writing the third one, and I'm excited to birth that one into the world. Why I bring up the books is sometimes we have these ideas and we make ourselves smaller. We step into a place where maybe we feel, where am I going to start? How do I do this? I have this big dream, whether it's the books, the podcast, the events that I'm now cultivating with beautiful women who are entrepreneurs and have these big dreams themselves. And it's really getting out of our own way. Sometimes we don't know how we're going to do it. Sometimes we don't have the faith in ourselves to get it done. And I have to say that a quote that a beautiful friend of mine uses all the time is, let me have enough faith in you until you have it in yourself. And sometimes that's what we need. Sometimes we need to surround ourselves with our tribe of women, our tribe of men, our spouses, our significant others, our children, our friends, if we're not mothers, who are going to remind us what we are capable of when we forget ourselves. I think it's so important to be able to cultivate the spaces that we need in order to nurture these ideas. Surprisingly enough, a lot of people don't know that for me, the cover of this book came to me in a session where I was doing red light. And literally, it's a space for me to work on my wellness. And in the middle of that, the cover came to mind. I have had many of my best ideas in a sauna, times where I'm actually having a moment for myself, where I'm clearing my mind. And sometimes I think that we're really, really afraid to be in the quiet, to be still, to pray, to meditate. And when we do cultivate those spaces for ourselves, it's when we can birth that idea. And journaling, writing those ideas down so that you can go ahead and start somewhere. Those ideas are there for a reason, and I firmly believe that God gives us those ideas because they want to be birthed into the world. When we do get out of our own way and we start believing in ourselves, it is amazing the things that end up happening. And I also am a firm believer that by us creating these beautiful gifts, putting them into the world, we're making space for other things happening in our lives. It allows us to nurture our creativity so that we can show up for family members and friends on a bigger scale because we are birthing the things that give us such passion and joy for ourselves and having our own goals. So I wanted to share a little bit about this because I feel that when we share our journey, when it comes to these ideas, I have gotten so much beautiful feedback from people who share that they had no idea that I wanted to do this. So much great feedback about the podcast, so much great feedback about the events that I'm creating for the women and the vulnerable spaces where sometimes women don't have friendships where they can actually have these conversations that we are having in these rooms. I had a conversation with my aunt recently. She is 80 years old and she just published her own book. She's been writing poems for as far back as I can remember. And she shared with me when she found out about my book publishing that she had had this dream to publish her poems and wanted to know a little bit more. And it's amazing because when we show up for ourselves, we're actually showing up for our lineages, our future lineages, but also the women in our family who did not see it possible to do certain things and maybe had these dreams. I am so happy that my aunt, with the help of her son, was able to get these poems on paper. And so many of these poems are actual testaments to our family, many stories and poems about things that we have gone through, her as a young girl, family losses that we've had, that now our future lineages get to read because my aunt had that faith in herself to rely on my cousin and ask for help and get it done. What a beautiful thing for her to have done that. And her book, Legacias Personal, is the name of the book, Personal Legacy, and there's a bilingual version of it, is out, and I'm just so proud of her. And it actually inspires me to continue to use my voice to share with the world because I know there are other women out there who want to do many big things, who want to create and stop themselves from doubt, self-doubt, objections that they put in place, maybe not wanting to do the research on how to get started. And there is so much growth from taking initiative and doing those things for yourself. I think because of my voice as well, I've had another tia. Our tias are so special because they have so many stories, but when we don't ask, we're not going to find out. I have another tia who is sharing so much of her grief journey with me that I had no idea that she had gone through. And it gives you so much empathy for what their situation was. And it gives you so much understanding for how my own mother, who's not here anymore to tell me certain stories, you understand how they showed up for themselves and for the world based on fear that was instilled in them, based on self-doubt, based on maybe being talked down from that idea from somebody that was supposed to lift them up. And it's super important for you to have those people that are going to actually help you get to that space with that crazy dream. They're crazy dreams. When I had those ideas, I didn't know how I was going to make it happen, but I was determined. And getting it done has been such a beautiful journey, such a huge satisfaction, and has been an inspiration, like I said, to others. So by you birthing your projects, you will be inspiring somebody else. I think that there's this misconception. I get the question sometimes of what my career moves are at this moment because of where I'm at. I'm still a lender. I'm still a mother. I'm a landlord. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm a wife. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an author now. I'm a podcaster. And we put ourselves in a box. We do that to ourselves. There's so many more titles that come with that for me. And I think that when we honor with reverence what our path is, and we have that faith in ourselves, whatever that is for you, doubters are going to be there. Everybody's always going to have an opinion, and that doesn't matter. For me, at the end of the day, this journey has been for me. And I'm grateful for the people that do support me. I'm grateful for the people that help me shine. I'm grateful for the people that co-sign for all of my excitement. And you should be able to do the same thing for yourself so that you can birth those projects that you have and those ideas because they are going to resonate with somebody who may need to hear what you have to share. What I would like to do is we are coming up on a new year, and I would love to challenge all of you, women, men, young people. I would love to challenge all of you to not sleep on your dreams. I know we hear it. It's so redundant. It's out there on so many different podcasts, so many motivational speakers, but truly put it in front of yourself. Set a game plan. Figure out what it is that you want to do and grab your planner, write down how you're going to make it happen because it's not going to birth itself. It does take work. It takes a lot of courage. But once it's done, there is this space of whether you feel like you don't want to do it because you are afraid to fail. there's no failure because you were able to birth that project that you were working on and that you dreamed about. And now you were true to yourself. You showed up with conviction for yourself, not for an audience, not for the world, for yourself. Because you have probably heard many times that people in their graves, they're not worried about having left things they left behind, but they probably wish that they would have executed on their dreams because those could have been left as a legacy to the world. So I really pray that you do take initiative, that with intention, you show up for yourself with conviction and radical honesty on what needs to be done so that you one day can leave a little piece of who you are for your future lineages. And more than anything, you can make yourself proud. I hope that I am inspiring you to step to the plate, make things happen, and do big things for yourself. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Her Wisdom Collective. Short but sweet with a impactful message that will hopefully have spoken to your heart to take action. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and share. Stay tuned for future Her Wisdom Collective episodes and for future Her Wisdom Collective events. Thank you so much. I appreciate your support and look forward to the next one.